What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Urban Platform Speaks. Make sure to like and subscribe as you tune into the channel and you check out the content. And with that being said, man, I want to speak on a recent video that I watched. What's the guy name is? It's Dreamers Pro, right? Charles Sabansky, I think his name is. Sabanza from Dreamers Pro. Shout out to Charles, to Dreamers Pro, right? And so in this video, he was saying that the Lakers are really making they're having a good offseason and they're making some good moves, right? And I just think that without LeBron James, I just think that the chemistry for the Lakers is going to be better. I don't know, like, how far they'll be able to go, like as far as in the playoffs. I know that they had, some success early last season before LeBron came and joined the team. You had Luka playing well, you had Austin Reeves playing well. You even had DeAndre Ayton contributing, and Marcus Smart was playing defense. So the team seemed to be developing some chemistry, right? And so soon after LeBron James got there, things kind of went in a different direction. Because you had to more so cater to LeBron James, right? It seemed like he was going to come in and just go with the flow and do what it took to make the team, do what he could to help the team when the team needed it. But then his personality just overwhelmed everything and basically just took over, right? Then you had distractions throughout the year when Rich Paul went on a podcast and was suggesting that they trade Austin Reeves, and stuff like that. So now that LeBron James is gone and they're starting to put pieces in place to build around Luka, I think you're going to see a different Luka. Hopefully Luka comes in and shape like he did last year, and then he just pick up where he did at the beginning of last season, right? So now, with that being said, I'm going to play some of the audio from Dreamers Pro, and then I'm going to make some comments, and give my input.
You guys know right now the Lakers are having a hell of an offseason. They've probably been the team with the most acquisitions. From what I can count, the Lakers have acquired 4 new players, and one of them is a major piece, Kessler Walker, that the Lakers were desperately in search for to kind of fill in the gap. It's something that Luka Doncic himself really wanted. And we knew that the Lakers had to make moves. The dark cloud that was hanging over them going into the offseason, once we finally found out that LeBron was not returning to the team, the Lakers acted swiftly. They were able to make 4 acquisitions in 35 minutes. 35 minutes, they made 4 acquisitions to the point where even people like Kendrick Perkins said the Lakers could potentially be the best offensive team in the NBA. Certainly, they'll be one of the most skilled teams.
Now, I don't know. I don't really know that much about this Kessler guy, but I do, like I said, if this Kessler guy can give you a better effort than DeAndre Ayton, then that's it's a good move. So I'm not sure I'm going to hold like back my reserve my judgment with Kessler because I'm not really too familiar with him, right? But anybody who gives you more effort than DeAndre Ayton is good, and so you know I just be kind of cautious about that. Which DeAndre Ayton was kind of inconsistent last year, so I'm not really big on DeAndre Ayton.
The league. And I also reported during a live that we did the other day that the Lakers are also trying to figure out if they could acquire Jonathan Kaminga as well, from who I think the Hawks rejected his contract this summer. So we have to see if that's going to be a possibility. But then I came across.
Now, Jonathan Kaminga, I think, would fit in really well with Luka because Jonathan Kaminga, like when Luka penetrate and draw the defense to him, if if you help out on Luka, then Jonathan Kaminga is going to be catching a whole lot of lobs, and Luka likes that play. He likes to be able to penetrate and just get the easy basket with the lob, right? So I think Jonathan Kaminga would be tailor made for what Luka liked to do, right? And then on top of that, Jonathan Kaminga is a pretty good defender. So you got this guy Kessler who probably is a better defender, more consistent than DeAndre Ayton. Then you get Jonathan Kaminga, who's a solid defender. So you got two defenders, um, and so I think the more defenders you put around Luka, I think the better, and so it is. I think the Lakers are off to a good start as far as this off season. I'm curious to see like what they're gonna do to as far as their bench and stuff like that. But it look like they're making some moves, and as long as they can develop some chemistry with these guys, I think they'll be good. They'll be able to make some noise. But I don't know if I agree with Kendrick Perkins as far as them being the most talented offense. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm a reserved judgment on that one.
To report here this morning, that really has me excited about what this season can be for this team. But before we even get into this report, today's video is brought to you by sponsor Price. Luka Doncic is excited about the Lakers' free agency moves, reports Dan Wokey Sports. He says his biggest desires for the roster were addressed, keeping Austin Reeves and getting an elite rim-protecting center in Walker Kessler. And this post was viewed.
See, that's good. So, all right, if that's this guy Kessler, if that's his primary job to be a rim protector, then that's good because now you don't have like DeAndre Ayton. If he's not getting the ball, that really changes the way he plays defense, because he's not motivated. But as long as you're feeding him, then he plays motivated, and you can't have a big man like that, especially if he don't have the offensive, he demanding the ball like he have offensive skills like Hakeem Olajuwon or something like that, and you can't have that, and in every game. It might not call for you to be able to go to the big man like that. Sometimes you have advantages somewhere else on the court, whereas though he wants to be fed like he's the primary guy out there. And so I think this guy Kessler, from what I'm hearing, he's willing to play his role and do his job. So I think and so and you know what, I want to touch on the statement that Stephen A. Smith made about the white boys and stuff like that, right? I just think because I remember Larry Bird, Danny Ainge, Kevin McHale, and then at one point in time they had Bill Walton, and they seemed to, they did pretty good. So that statement that Stephen A. Smith made, man, I think Stephen A. Smith probably just make those kind of statements because he didn't even mention the Boston Celtics when he was saying like ain't nobody scared of three white boys on this same starting five. I don't know. Stephen A. Smith might have been trying to drum up some or stir up some stuff, man, but. I just, like I said, if this guy Kessler play defense and protect the rim like they need him to, then I think it'll be a much better fit for them than what DeAndre Ayton was.
What is it? This post was viewed 800,000 times. It originally, I believe, originates from a New York Times article here, and essentially says the Lakers' moves in free agency have been a hot topic in calls and texts amongst executives and agents, with plenty wondering if the Lakers overpaid for Walker Kessler and if they left themselves without any ammunition to upgrade the roster down the road. While the team isn't done with his roster build, as we reported yesterday, the Lakers are looking at wings. Jonathan Kaminga high on that list. Its move has received a thumbs up from the locker room presence that matter the most. According to league sources, Luka Doncic was excited about the Lakers signing, with the team addressing his biggest desires for the roster by keeping Austin Reeves and getting an elite rim protecting center in Kessler. Those sources who spoke on condition of anonymity because the deals have not been completed, said the Lakers kept in regular communication with Doncic and his team despite a significant time gap with the star guard spending his summer in Europe. The Lakers.
All right, so and he's saying that they kept in contact with Luka Doncic, right? Now, remember earlier in this process, LeBron James said that he wanted the Lakers to tell him who they were getting and what were their plans, for moving forward. And the Lakers didn't even respond to that. They respond to that by, they ignored it, and then they responded to it by signing Austin Reeves. So they were like, we're going to show you what our plans are, and you can just take it from there. But Lake organization didn't feel like they had to prove anything to LeBron, show LeBron anything. And the writing was on the wall. Once they signed Austin Reeves, they was like, we're going in a different direction. This team is all about Luka, building around Luka, and moving forward. So I'm excited though, really though, to see you know how this thing play out. Because remember, like I said, last year, the beginning of the year, the Lakers looked pretty good without LeBron James. I'm not saying that they would have went all the way or anything, but I think that they'd have had better chemistry. And if Luka, Austin, and those guys, they could have stayed healthy, I think they probably would have had a pretty good season. So now, this coming season, they're going to have that opportunity. They got LeBron out of there. I think that's going to make people like Austin Reeves. People not going to be second guessing themselves and looking over their shoulders and worrying about some of the nonsense that come along with having LeBron on your team. So I just can't wait. I want to see what the Lakers be able to do next year without LeBron James. So that's my take on it. Make sure to like and subscribe. Don't forget to leave a comment, and I'll check you all out in the next video. Peace.